Oh, shit. We are ready. Sarath, how you doing?
Hi, Sean. I'm good.
Good. How are things? How are things in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, things, it's not very well due to the situation with COVID, but
Okay.
things are.
Has it changed at all? The same?
It's so we are trying our best to take it back, like trying to normalize the things, but things are not very good.
Yeah, things are stable here actually, and actually they're getting better. The vaccine is starting to penetrate.
Okay.
Most a lot of doctors are getting it first, obviously, and older people. So it'll take a while, but I mean, there's hope. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Has the vaccine come there at all yet?
Sorry?
Has the vaccine come to Sri Lanka at all?
It's on the way, I suppose. It's we haven't got it yet.
Okay.
Probably the healthcare workers will be getting it soon.
Okay.
As the frontliners.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, things have not been very bad, in our country. It has been, under control. But suddenly with the second wave, it's a bit worse than the first wave. So especially where I'm working at, there are, few people, with the PCR checkings, most of them getting positive. So a bit worrying situation in our hospital, but we are trying to get the things settled down.
Oh, okay, that's good. Hey, Ipe, how you doing? Ipe. Oh, I guess he's talking.
Okay. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, Ipe, that's good. It's good sound.
Okay.
Well, you can tell that when you have good sound, it helps a lot.
Yeah. So I'll try and get things better slowly. Once my office it's full-fledged, then we can get a studio for this, so that we're planning to do continuous meetings where we are showing surgeries as well as dissections. So we're going to get a studio where things are much better.
Okay. Yeah, we'll set that up. A lot can be. I can do a lot from here, but it's for the physical setup. Obviously, you have to be there. But
yeah, I would suggest that you come here sometime, John. That's what.
Oh yeah. I have that in the plans. So a month or so, I think would be good. I think. And I haven't been to that part of India. I haven't been to any part of India, matter of fact. But I haven't been to Kerala in the southern India.
Well, Karad is not actually southern India. It's between, I'll say, central and southern India.
Oh, okay. And that's where you're at, right?
Yeah, right now that's where I am. I
Yeah.
can show you some pictures of this. Do you have some pictures of our university? Yeah, on
Yeah, Paulo knows how to get here and everything, right? I haven't communicated with him at all.
yeah. Polo knows how to get into.
Okay.
Polo has done this with us before. Let me ask.
Never met him before.
Let me ask Polo.
Okay. Maybe check with him. Yeah, everybody comes at the last minute here. Yeah, I
That's
talked to
usual.
Yuha. Yuha's having internet problems over in China. And I tried to convince him. I says, "Hey, I does these with a smartphone. He participates in Zoom, but apparently even the smartphone is not working."
Now we're gonna talk about what we did in the last few years pushing frontiers and how everybody can go ahead and do the same. And also we have some plans for, I mean, we are asking the young neurosurgeons how they can go ahead and seriously push these frontiers.
Okay, let me introduce you to Sarath. He's a neurosurgeon from Sri Lanka. This is Ipcherian.
Hi.
And,
Hi, Dr. Cherian.
Hi, Surat. Good to see you.
You too. Privileged to see you.
He just
Yeah,
did a grand round. Okay.
I'm originally from Kerala, and we are very close. I was in Kerala about a month back, so
Okay.
it is pretty close.
Yeah, of course. I've seen your work, and I appreciate you a lot. Your attitude's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're right next to the man on the screen, anyways.
Is Polo around?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Are you texting with him, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I just tried calling him, but then this guy, I mean, must be some crazy time for him.
Not crazy. No, it's actually better. It's 8:27, which is really not bad.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's prime time for a neurosurgeon.
Well, I was thinking Hira is probably 4 a.m. or something. So she was telling me she was trying to help me with the dog, and it's some 4 a.m. for her. And I was thinking it's the same for him too.
No, he's ahead of Miami, 2 hours ahead. It's 6:30 in Miami, 6:28.
So tell me if you want me to start off, or if
yeah, we could. Well, yeah, we could do that, and I'm sure he'll join us along the way.
Okay.
Let me just get something ready here. Warlix was going to come, but she's late. She's going to get fired, but then I'll have to hire her again. Just wait a second for Warlicks. Are you coming? Okay. Okay, Ipe, I guess we can. You ready to start, Ipe?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning from Miami Beach for Neurosurgical TV. Today we have the pleasure of having Ipe Cherry, and he's going to be talking about pushing frontiers in neurosurgery and neurosurgery education. And I'd like to turn it. First, let me introduce Sarath from Sri Lanka. Before I turn over to Ipe. Hello, Sarath.
Hi, John.
Welcome. He just gave a Dynamite Hangout webcast
Thank you.
on Grand Rounds. Anyways, Ipe, it's all yours, and welcome.
Hi, everybody. It's a long time, huh? So, in the meanwhile, I have shifted base from Nepal to India, back to home. And we have settled down in this beautiful place called CAROTID, which is on the Western Ghats. And we're slowly starting a department here with all the facilities and everything. This place is beautiful, and it's got so many patients. We've had some crazy cases over the past couple of weeks. So today, I'm going to tell you about how can we push frontiers, and what does pushing frontiers really mean? I mean, it's not something fancy. I'm just going to say what we did and how I could say that we did push frontiers. So we neurosurgeons, we are not basic scientists. We are not writers. We are neurosurgeons who we are busy, and we don't have much time for basic research or anything. So how do we push frontiers? The answer would be we keep on innovating, whether it's surgical technique, whether it is ideas, whether it is instruments which will make your life better. And that's how we did it. And I'm sure all the young neurosurgeons listening to me can do the same. We didn't do anything special. So we started way back in 2001, around 20 years back, when I joined neurosurgery in a place called Christian Medical College, Vellore. And I can say from the very beginning, when I saw neurosurgery the way it was, I wanted to improve things. I thought, here we are. Although the world around us is advanced so much, we are still doing neurosurgery with rather primitive instruments. I wouldn't say rather primitive, but compared to what we have for other things, say like in defense or simple cell phone, we are doing neurosurgery in a real primitive state. So we're going to tell you how and what changed. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and I'm going to show you a small presentation. I'd like Polo to join in. I hope he's not got any confusion regarding the time, but I'm going to do this for 20 minutes so that you'll know what we did. So that's my team at the Krishna Institute of Medical Sciences in CAROTID. We have Trishant, Nilesh, Nargiza, Nekunj, and our postgraduate Dr. Neil Kamal. So first thing first, when we started off 13 years back, we introduced microneurosurgery to trauma. We started treating trauma like a WFNS grade 4 or WFNS grade 5 aneurysm. That's all we did. We opened the cisterns and we got really good results, and we started pushing it forward. And well, there was a lot of opposition, as for every single thing where you are the avant-garde, you will have resistance for sure. And we got a lot of resistance. We got called a lot of names, but finally it's ready. The concept is ready now, and there are so many people doing it. We teach a lot of neurosurgeons here and elsewhere. So we introduced microneurosurgery to trauma, and that, I would say, was changing a 100-year-old concept. We literally trashed the Monroe-Kelly doctrine. We told that the Monroe-Kelly doctrine needs to be modified, and what's important is CSF shift edema. I'm sure I've told this many times, the lectures on CSF shift edema. We've told this many, many times, and I don't think I'm going to repeat it again. The concept here is how we push frontiers. So we started the concept of CSF shift edema, about how CSF gets shifted through the Verschraben spaces into the brain, and how that produces an edematous brain, and how opening the cisterns can reverse this. So that's one thing we did. And then we had to find a way to get into the base in an edematous brain. So we went into anterolateral skull base techniques, and then we started the concept of unlocking the anterolateral skull base. So the brain, sagittal unlocking, axial unlocking, and intradural oblique unlocking, which is actually Sylvian dissection. We started it. These unlockings are chapters and papers, published papers, and this concept was started by us. So we pushed the frontier again there, and it was again for trauma, but then we ended up making it easy for a bunch of neurosurgeons who were listening to us. And also we proposed an extradural carotid classification, which was far, far easier than what was in vogue. So this was the second instance of us trying to push the frontiers. Then, when we started thinking about how the CSF gets shifted through the Verschraben spaces, we understood that the brain was actually cooled by the CSF and cleaned by the CSF. Cooling was by our sinuses, the wet mucosa in the sinuses, evaporating when you're taking breath, and the suprasellar cisterns are in the center of those sinuses. And then, because of the arterial pulsations, these CSF is going in to the rest of the brain. The cooled CSF is going into the rest of the brain. That was cooling of the brain happening every time. And then you had cleaning, where when you during sleep, aquaporin 4 channels opened up and this CSF was mixing with the ISF, taking chloride, lactate, and all the rest of the metabolites, and just thus cleaning the brain. So the CSF was for cooling and cleaning the brain. This concept, again, we wrote about it first time in 2015, me and Margarita Beltran, and then we had a few chapters where now it's getting accepted. Next was our concept of hyperscope, where we mixed the visual ability of a normal scope. We mixed that with a virtual image. That's a navigated virtual image. And then we also added input from neurophysiology, so that you could see a facial nerve or a brain stem where you have stimulated that that area, you can identify it because your stimulating electrode is navigated. You know exactly where you're stimulated, and the next time you don't have to stimulate it again to figure out what is that area. So that will be seen on the scope as an area which you identified as, say, let's say the facial nerve nucleus, or let's say the motor cortex. So that line will be there. The facial nerve, according to values, you could identify where is the facial nerve. And also the virtual image, the virtual you could also see the virtual image. Say, for example, you are reconstructing a CT scan. That CT scan would be the virtual image, the 3D of that CT scan would be overlaid onto your real image, thereby helping you to figure out where exactly is the structures. And you can use AI for the brain shift. Or an intraoperative MRI, which we had, which we found, which we didn't find very useful. But no, so we are now having other solutions where we could overlay and use AI to get a virtual vision for the scope, and also use neurophysiology and other parameters like even anatomy. So for example, if you don't know what you're looking at, then maybe you'll get an anatomy lesson from the scope saying that that's a lateral limit of the cavernous sinus, or that is the C3 carotid, or that is the C5 carotid, and that your cranial nerves are here and your tumor is here. AI can do wonders, you see. So that's what we named as the hyperscope, and we wrote about it in the UNESCO's official textbook. The chapter is out, the textbook is out. Now, then we went into instruments which will make our life easier. So we made a mechanical QSA. It's already made. The prototype is out. It's we checked it out in the last cadaver workshop. It works like a dream. So mechanical QSA is different from a normal QSA because the piezoelectric crystal has only one frequency. You cannot change the frequency, or you need to have another handpiece. So here you can change the frequency and the amplitude. And so you can take anything from bone to glial tumors, and the vessel will not be touched. The vessel is not hurt. So we made this mechanical QSA, and it's going to be with me very soon. A prototype is out and we are doing the testings, and believe me, it will not cost more than $5,000. That will be the price of it. So we are making everything so that it's economic, and it's far, far better than the QSA which is in vogue right now. Then we started something called the water knife, which can dissect tumors, which can take off the blood from the field, which can even act as a temporary clip. So for example, if you direct this water into the carotid at the pressure at which the carotid is flowing, the blood in the carotid is flowing, the blood flow will stop there, and it can be used as a temporary kind of clip also. We have to check these out in cadaver workshops first, and then after that we'll be able to. But the water knife as such is very useful for tumor dissection and many other things. We also made economical and practical prototypes of exoscope, 3D exoscopes, which I'll be able to show you once you guys come to our cadaver labs. We have an exoscope which is just costing around $30,000. So, and it is in 3D, and the image is 4K. We can even make it 8K. And we have a robotic endoscopic holder using the Franca Amica robot. The poinsettia arm which we had in my theater before used to cost a bomb, and it was not at all efficient. And so we made a back drivable robot to hold the endoscope, and that will be completely controlled for minor movements, where you can position the endoscope wherever you want, and then you can operate with both your hands. So this is another thing that we are working on. And then we started using a modified plasma knife for intracranial tumors. In fact, we did today one of my consultants was operating with this for a GBM, and the results are just brilliant, okay. So we're using this modified cobblator knife, which the wand we have designed for neurosurgery. It was used for adenoidectomies before, and extracranial surgery. Now we're using it for glial and meningeal tumors. So these are things which, again, is an example of pushing frontiers. And when it comes to neurosurgical education, I started this concept of the Neurosurgery TV with John Bennett. I remember 5-6 years back how me and John used to talk about getting the education to the masses for free. And John, do you remember this when you came to Nepal and before that?
Oh, yes, yes.
So John was telling me that we definitely started a trend where now there is a neurosurgical conference every hour, I guess. But before that, when we started this, we started sharing our videos. We started sharing, having, small sessions and talking about different things in neurosurgery. I remember all those times. Now it's gone so far. We also started Ignite and Neurosurgery Coach. Ignite is a neurosurgical journal, and Neurosurgery Coach is a program where we could mentor young neurosurgeons. We got new medical students from the third world to neurosurgery, where we started labs for them and taught them how to anastomose, how to drill and things like that. And we did boot camps. And Salman, I would say, from Salman Sharif from Pakistan was one of the pioneers. And of course, there were many others after that. Now we are setting up the Oculus Quest 2 in my department. We are acquiring it in a matter of weeks, where we can reconstruct scans, reconstruct anatomy, walk in through these scans or anatomy, and with a virtual headset. And anybody using a headset anywhere in the world, we have a community where we can get these headsets and we can educate you using this. I think this would be the future. So these are the things we push the frontiers on, and I'm sure there'll be many more. We're just getting warmed up. So I am sure young neurosurgeons who are listening, you guys can do the same. There's nothing stopping you. If you get into the rat race of corporate neurosurgery and money and number of cases and ego and competition, you're not going to push frontiers. You're going to just be part of that rat race. So get into a place where you are at peace, and get into a place where you can do quality more than quantity. Excellent quality more than quantity. I'm sure you'll also be very soon pushing frontiers. All the very best for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll bump you off the screen there, okay?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I remember when we started, it was a hard sell because we were using Google Hangouts, and I'm sure you remember those. They were a little more difficult than using Zoom. Zoom is easy compared to that. So, I'd like to introduce you, Ipe, to Mohammed Fahmy. He's from Egypt. He's the head of the Egyptian neurosurgery.
And we have
hello,
Gaurav.
Mohammed, welcome.
And we have Gaurav Gupta from Rutgers also. Hello, Professor Fahmy, and hello, Gaurav.
Hello, Dr. Ab, and hello also my greeting and the thanks to Dr. John Bennett. Actually, we are in era of COVID-19, or we can say a vast education of era COVID-19. I think this time it's highly important because the training have been shifted from the not only OR or conference, I mean face-to-face meeting or a general worldwide international meeting. It's becoming right now into the Zoom meeting on the social media. This it will change not only on the training of neurosurgery, however, it will be changing the other education, maybe outside the medical field at all after this year, 2021. Dr. John Bennett have doing a very good job of communicating all the expert and the consultant and the professor and the scientists all over the world on the field of neurosurgery and the neurology as well. We hope in the other fields there is a similar activity for communicating the top scientists between different countries with each other, as we are facing an all mankind usually confronted with one or few enemy confronted all over the world. Thanks for both of you. I mean, I am and Dr. John Bennett.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vlad, are you there? Vlad, you're here, right?
Vlad is here. Vlad is here.
Yeah, Vlad, you want to weigh in here? Vlad, you're there, right, Vlad?
Actually, on the day after tomorrow, Monday, I will have two presentation. The time would be 5:30 Egyptian time about a new classification of cellular paracellular lesions. This one presentation. The two would be consecutive. The other about strategy of Petrus surgery. Thank you.
Okay, we'll be there. Okay, I guess Vlad may have stepped away. Andrea Jarosa.
Okay.
Andrea, hi.
Hello. Hello, John. Hello, everyone.
How's it going, Andrea?
It's going well. It's okay. Still a COVID time here in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Andrea.
Hello. Hello, Ipe.
Is Vlad here? Vlad?
I think Vlad may have stepped away. You know,
Gaurav is here from Rogers. Gaurav, are you there?
Okay, perhaps.
Gaurav, are you here?
Well, you know, the Oculus Quest, can you talk about that a little bit, or you want to do that later?
Maybe after I get it in my hands. So
oh, okay. Okay. It sounds nice. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Anybody else want to comment on what I've had to say? See here.
Any comments? Questions, comments, anything?
Well, before someone does, I'd just like to say, you know, the reason why I like this interface of Google Hangout when I first saw it, I knew it would be a great way to interface neurosurgery with other areas like virtual reality, et cetera, Without this platform of Zoom, I think it would be difficult to educate the neurosurgical community about a lot of sciences. But getting on the same page in the same webcast is a start. Wouldn't you agree, Ipe?
Yes, absolutely, John.
Yeah, we hope we can do that. We hope we can bring a lot of those people to Zoom, to the Neurosurgical TV, so people can interact before they integrate it into hopefully neurosurgery.
Can I make a comment, John?
Yeah, go ahead, Sarath. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, I think you're doing a great job, especially you with this Neurosurgical TV and as Dr. Cherian. Because to be honest, to tell you the truth, actually, I got to know about cystinostomies through Neurosurgical TV. And until that time, I didn't know about cystinostomy. We were doing decompressive craniectomy. So then I watched a lot of videos from Dr. Cherian, and I followed him, and I have obtained very good results with cystinostomy, as he said. So I believed in it. And we used to do decompressive craniectomies, but when you shift to cystinostomy, I saw a remarkable difference in the patient's outcome. So the concepts of Dr. Cherian, as he always mentioning the importance of quality rather than quantity. And he always say that when you think about the patient's aspect, if you want to render a service to the country, so you are busy as a neurosurgeon. You don't have time to do the research. That's what's happening to us as well. We have a lot of, a big caseload. Three countries like Sri Lanka, India, third world countries, developing countries. So the concepts are great, especially for countries, for neurosurgeons like us. So congratulations to Dr. Cherian on his new inventions. Hopefully we'll be able to get those instruments as soon as they, it's made available. And wish him all the good luck, and hope he would continue the good thing with you. So we can always join with you as well as young neurosurgeons.
Thank you very much, Surat. That was very kind. I'm sure cystinostomy is now it's off the runway, so I'm not pushing it anymore. I know my friends like Vlad and all, they will know how much I pushed it in the initial period, but now I'm finding that I really don't have to push it, and people are really taking it up, and I'm glad that young guys like you are on the right path, introducing microneurosurgery and getting standards of neurosurgery higher and higher and higher. The whole course of neurosurgery, I believe, has been like this COVID pandemic. It has been writing. Writers in neurosurgery was the curse of neurosurgery. You shouldn't have writers in neurosurgery. I believe that. I'm not very kind about it. Anybody who's a neurosurgeon wouldn't have time to write. In a busy center, we will not. Everybody who knows this, who are in a busy center, they would understand this. You start work at 6 and you till 10 or 11, you're not finished. Whether you are the chief or whether whoever you are not finished. So if you're getting time to write and put p-values and statistics and have all the time in the world, that either means that you're working too hard. You're burning your candle from both ends, or, which is not preferable, very few do that, or you're having a lot of time in your hands and you're not operating really. So the latter part is a very bad choice, not operating and writing all this and playing around with p-values. I wouldn't recommend that. I would, and that's become a fashion, because everybody takes the path of least resistance. So neurosurgery is not a path of least resistance. It is a path of maximum resistance. It is for guys who are literally sadistic or masochistic, I would say. They are people who are masochistic. They are the guys who take neurosurgery. They are the guys who go ahead and train like anything, despite all the heartbreaks. So young neurosurgeons, if you want to enjoy neurosurgery, push on to the front. Like what Surat is telling, I'm sure he would have had a lot of failures. We had a lot of failures. I can say I had so many failures that you wouldn't believe. I had so many insults. I had so much of setbacks. But the only way to go forward is during adversity, you push forward. You don't fall back, you push forward. That's the only way to go forward. So when you do that, you will enjoy it. When you look back at what you've done, you will enjoy, I'm sure. So that is what you should do. It's not about an attitude, ego, or hate or anything. It's just about, being strong, pushing forward, not being afraid of who you are, and constant improvement. So you do that, you'll be proud of yourself, as we'll be proud of you too.
Could you talk about your general plans at Krishna, what you plan to do regarding what online activities you think you may be doing?
Yeah, so John, we are resuming Neurosurgery Coach and Ignite very soon in Krishna. So that will include mentoring young neurosurgeons online, as well as accepting young neurosurgeons from a period of 1 year from now on. We will be able to accept 4 neurosurgeons every month, where we can pay $600 to them, and they can do fellowships of their choice, either vascular, skull base, or trauma. They can do 6 months to an year. We will provide them accommodation, and we will provide them the salary of $600. We'll get them to assist us with the necessary documents and everything. We'll get them to assist us also. They will also be learning cadaver dissections at our lab, which I can promise would be one of the best in the world. We already have brought the navigation system for the lab. We've already acquired it. So we will have exoscopes, microscopes, endoscopes, everything in the lab. We also have fresh cadavers, so we will have the chance of having injected cadavers. Victor and Manuel is going to help me on this. So we will have an anastomosis lab as well, where they can learn microvascular anastomosis and skull-based drilling techniques and other techniques, and they can also participate in live surgeries. For medical students, we will have a facility where they are doing some basic research with us. We are planning to collaborate with many agencies in India, like the DST and many more, where we're planning to look at AI, planning to look at robotic learning and new instruments to improve the scope of neurosurgery, improve minimally invasive neurosurgery and things like that. So, and to collaborate with the engineering group of people to see how we can improve the present scope, the present QSA, the present drill, and many more things. So these are the outline of things that we're planning to do. And if anybody is interested to join up collaborations or come here, you're very welcome.
Do you foresee doing any workshops in cisternostomy at CAROTID?
Of course, yes. This is a place where we have a lot of trauma. In fact, this is a hotbed for trauma, and I'm sure by the time we set up, we'll have at least 1 or 2 cisternostomies every day. So instead of a workshop, we're going to invite all of you guys to CAROTID, and my consultants, both of them young neurosurgeons, are already doing cisternostomies. And here, I think Andrea was with me for some time, and Andrea has already done a cisternostomy. So Surat is here, who's done cisternostomies. Now, we've got a lot of other young neurosurgeons from all over the world, all continents, who are messaging, saying their different types. Even I learn sometimes. They say that this is how we do it. And sometimes I learn that this is how, this is how some people can do it. We are able to correct and we are able to guide them so that they don't repeat our mistakes. But of course, cisternostomy, we're going to take it big time forward, so that this 120-year-old old surgery, decompressive, and this group of writers slowly can, retire, and young neurosurgeons can start doing what they're good at, microneurosurgery.
Okay, very good. Any more? Does anybody else have something to say? Comments before we close?
Well, I'm worried that Paulo has not been seen. I hope he's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of time confusion with. I'm always confused with Brazil. They're 2 hours ahead of Miami.
But I hope he got the timings right, because
Okay, someone's asking, how many elective cases per day at your center?
See, we're just starting. We've just got NC4 mic. We've not even got our microscope right now. So, Paulo, you're supposed to join in, man. You're supposed to join in, Paulo.
Yes.
Paulo, can you join into the meeting?
Yeah. Just give me a few minutes. It's in the morning here at Brazil. I'll join in a second, okay?
Right. Paulo is joining up. Paulo is joining up. John Paulo is joining up.
Okay.
Well, so whoever asked that question, so we're doing about 30 to 40 cases per month right now, because this is just started. I mean, we're just 3 months we've started. So we are, although we're doing some really good cases like petroclivals, some crazy aneurysms, last week we did a anteriorly placed foramen magnum and all the way up to the cervical cord. There was an anteriorly placed tumor. We did an extreme lateral approach and took it out. So we're doing some good cases, but the number of cases as such is less. Our emergency is not organized. We haven't even started the OPDs. So I'm taking it slow, and I'm slowly acquiring all the things. We've acquired a few things, but there's a lot of things more to go. We're getting an intraoperative 128 slice CT. We're designing it, in fact. We are designing a roof mounted railing for the patient OT table, from shifting to the OT table to the CT. And so we're designing the carbon fiber tabletop and many more things that we designed. It's coming here. So it's I'm thinking it'll be 1 year before we start properly thinking about how many cases, and I'm sure it'll be crossing 100, I'm sure, because it's a very, very busy place. And I would ask you guys to come after a year. So by the time the institute is ready, we've got a full 5-storied institute for neurosurgery, neurosciences, in fact, with 3 theaters, the hybrid theaters, intraoperative brain suite with the CT scans, everything. We're getting it ready. So it'll take 1 year. We're not rushing it. We're just enjoying our time here. So elective cases as such, I mean, if you ask me right now, it's around 30 to 40. Yes. Any other questions or anything else? Any comments or?
Is Carotid a big metropolitan area?
No. It's not at all. It's not really a metro at all. It's a small town. It's a sleepy small town. But this hospital, it is a campus of about 70 or 100 acres, and it's beautifully built. You got a swimming pool, you got a gym, you got beautiful buildings all around. It's like you're in the West. That's how it looks like, and it's an amazing climate here. And 1 hour from here, you got these hills with waterfalls and jungles and all that. It's a fantastic place. This is what I wanted. So I came to really where I wanted. So place is beautiful. The hospital is amazing, and the administration is really, really, really supportive. So, I mean, in this Corona time, and very few places were ready to, in fact, not many places were ready to spend this kind of money to acquire everything and start a unit, which is.
Yeah, I hope they can invest in the digital part of it.
Yes. Neurosurgical TV will be an integral part of it, John.
Well, just the internet. I think any hospital now has to be aware that they should connect their internet to good speeds. They know that now.
Yeah, so we will have that. I told you we're starting this virtual with Oculus Quest 2. We're starting this virtual neurosurgery thing. So we've asked for a dedicated internet, and India bandwidth is not a real problem. So we are getting this virtual thing, and it's. I saw a demonstration of it in Pune, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing. So we are getting to get all our scans and our and use reconstructed in the virtual and walk through the brain and look at the aneurysm like you're looking at my phone, or looking at my phone from all the angles. So a bottle of water which you can hold in your hand. This is what we are looking at, and we would want medical students and all the other young neurosurgeons to see this as well.
Yeah, and let me say, the Neurosurgical TV app, you can see this broadcast. It's right on the front, and it'll make it easy to see. So just trying to make it easier to access.
Well, Professor Colli is here. He's also from Brazil. Professor Colli, are you here?
Oh, okay, yeah, I saw him step in. Hold on here. Benedicto Oscar.
Yeah, Benedicto Oscar Colli. Professor Colli.
Okay. Are you there, Benedicto? He may have stepped away. Hello, Nick.
Hello, everybody.
It must be hot there, I know.
Hello, dear John. Hello to all the colleagues. It is a very nice activity, this. Compliments and best wishes. I will be with you, and I will learn from all the things that you are saying, okay?
Okay.
Best wishes for 2021 without coronavirus, okay?
Okay, very good, Nick. Thank you for coming. We could have Paulo on again sometime. Looks like he may be delayed. I don't know.
Yeah, so let me ask him once more. If he's delayed, then maybe.
Yeah, okay, sure. Oh, here he is. Here he is.
Okay.
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 Hello, Paulo, are you there? I think he fell off. Oh, there he is. Paulo, you can hear me okay? He's here. He's here in the panel. So just hang in there. Can you hear me okay? Hello? Hello, Ipe, can you hear me? Don't know what happened now. Let's see, Ipe. Can anybody hear me? Just let me know if you can't. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good, Sarath, good. I wasn't sure whether no one was hearing me. I think Paula and Paulo's in here. Paulo, can you hear me okay? Just hang in there. We're having trouble here with Paulo unmuting.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, good. How you doing, Paulo?
Fine. Sorry for the delay.
No problem. I'm John Bennett. And Ipe, are you here, Ipe?
I'm here, John. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Paulo's here.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, Paulo.
Hey, how are you, Ipe?
Pretty good, Paulo. You want me to introduce you?
Yeah, please.
So Paulo's been my friend for over maybe a decade now. We we used to teach together in St. Louis at Salim's water dandy meetings for SKULLBASE and vascular sessions. Paulo is a fantastic surgeon, and he's truly pushing the frontiers of neurosurgery. He was one of the earliest to use a Da Vinci for microsuturings. A Da Vinci robot he was using in microsuturings. And Paulo is a very high-ranked officer in the Brazilian army as well. So Paulo is a military neurosurgeon, and Paulo will tell you about endoscopic aneurysm clippings and also about robotics, the work that he's doing.
Thank you, Ipe. Ipe is a very, very good and old friend. We've been together for a long time. We started and we knew each other at a course, a presential course at St. Louis. And I was able to see his amazing capabilities as a surgeon, as a teacher. And so it's a big honor to be here with you, Ipe, and with John to try to show some things that we are doing or that we believe that can be done now and in the near future. And let me just try to minimize my... Can I share my screen already, John?
Yes, of course.
Let me just look for an image that is gonna give you guys a little bit of the ideas that we had a long, long time ago. Okay. So one of the most difficult procedures that we can do in neurosurgery is anastomosis, right? And then
we're not seeing anything yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna start sharing it now.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you had.
Okay, so I wanted you to take a look.
There you go. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So what you see here, it's an image, a digital still frame of an experience we've performed at St. Louis almost 10 years ago. I think I might remember it. So what you see here, it's the Sylvian fissure and distal middle cerebral artery, the Sylvian artery, and here you see a saphenous graft. So what you see here is one of the most difficult procedures one can perform inside the skull, which is anastomosis, right? And why is it so difficult? It is difficult because you do it with a very, very thin suture line, which is a 10-0 usually, and high magnification, and you are pressed about the timing. You must be fast or you have some ischemia at the distal bed. One of the things that we can remove from this and make it easier is if we just get the shaking, the tremor out of this equation, and also if we can magnify it, if we do a movement, let's say about 1 millimeter, and in the tip of our instrument, you get this movement scaled down by 10 times, for example. And we've got the robot that a lot of specialties use a long time now. And it's a paradox. Neurosurgery, which is a specialty that does a lot of microsurgical procedures, we don't use the robot. Why is that? We use robots only for navigate, to put pedicle screws, which is a gross procedure. I don't need a robot to guide me to insert a pedicle screw. But if I put the robot, the surgical robot, in the equation, then I can really make a difficult procedure in an easy one, all right? So something that is done by a few neurosurgeons in the world can be performed by any elementary trained neurosurgeon. And you see here, you can see the arrow. It's on the saphenous vein graft, and you can see here is the suture line at 10-0, and you can see all the middle cerebral artery terminal branches here, and you barely can see the suture line here where the anastomosis has been performed. So this is one of the advantages of using the surgical robot. And as I told you, this was performed 10 years ago. And even so, we used some instruments that were not designed for neurosurgery. Here you can see a regular Caesar, and here a regular forceps. And here it was at the time the most delicate instrument for Da Vinci robot, which was the tool that is called Black Diamond. And now we are trying to design some new instruments to work with surgical robots, but instruments designed only for neurosurgery. And we have several branches, research lines with using the robot in neurosurgery. Not only in the skull, but also endonasal. Ip and John are here. They won't let me lie alone, right? So one of the biggest fears of anyone who goes endonasal is to have a lesion on the carotid. Why is that? Because it's difficult to control the bleeding. We can't suture because we don't have enough axis of movement and angle to place a stitch, and the space is narrow and we really got trapped. So one of my goals is to develop instruments that are thin enough to go inside the nostril and that allow us to deal with this problem. But we are talking about a tool that is far more precise, that it's far more regular. There are some papers that show that when you analyze this kind of suture I performed for this anastomosis, the stitches are very regular in angle, in depth, far more regular than those that are placed with a free hand, okay? And this is because I'm a trained neurosurgeon. I used to do this kind of procedure. If you get someone who just got out of his training, this is an extremely difficult procedure to be performed, right? So this is one of the examples I wanted to show you and to highlight the possibilities that are coming in the near future. Da Vinci is an old platform. It's about the 80s, and it was originally designed by DARPA, which is a defense agency from United States, and then its patent got sold for private practice from Brazilian Army, from American Army to the private company that is called Intuitive, who still owns the patent for Da Vinci. But it's an old project. It has about 40 years. And we have some exciting new robots that are coming into on the next year, probably. They are developed by a company which is called Verb Surgical. Verb, it's a joint venture from Google and from Johnson. And the main advantage is that Verb Surgical robots, they are inserted in a kind of a virtual network. So my robot talks to Ipe's robot, that talks to John's robot, and to every other single robot in the world. And they collect data. So they project an infrared field that is continually measuring the surgeon hand's movement and also the instrument's movements. And then if something goes wrong, it registers and it analyzes with AI everything that was done: the angle, the speed, the strength, the field, the depth. And then when they get a significant number of procedures, they establish like a pattern. Then if you perform any movement that it's out of what is considered a safe pattern, it pops up a screen where it's written, hey, 99.9% of people who did this kind of movement, we had an injury from a perforator. Do you want to proceed? So it is still a master-slave system, but it helps you because it tells you that this kind of movement usually goes wrong. If you're an experienced surgeon and the anatomy of the patient is very, very particular, then you can override the screen and proceed with the movement anyway. But this is going to be a big, big jump, big gain on the use of surgical robots. Besides that, we can collaborate. So as you see here, this old system, the Da Vinci system, has only 3 arms. With Verb Surgical or other robotic systems that are coming from Japan, you can have up to 8 arms. What does that mean? This means that I can operate here in Brazil with a high-speed internet and have Ipe or John helping me with the other arms from their countries. So I can have Ipe helping me on a bypass. I can do half the bypass while Ipe does the other half. So this is gonna be done in much less time. This means less ischemia time for the brain. And this is gonna be great, right? So the future for the coming generation of neurosurgeons is brilliant. We will be allowed to access and to treat lesions in areas that when I was a resident and probably when I was a resident were called by Bajit Sami, one of our greatest gurus, as no man's land. And so we're reaching a time where there won't be more any no man's land on the brain, on the human brain, all right? So this is coming, guys. I do have something else to add for robots. While I get my endonasal pictures in.
Okay, Ike, are you there? You may have stepped away.
Okay, John, if you want to comment something, please.
Yeah, I guess Google is involved heavily still in robotics.
Yeah.
Okay, so they fund a lot of projects, or they're just funding and development of the machinery?
Yeah, you know, there were some interesting data regarding the funding for this kind of research, you know, John. So during Obama, the former president of United States, State of the Union speech of his second term in the United States, he said that healthcare business is the biggest industry to be explored on the coming years. Mm-hmm. And so he started to fund, the government started to fund research on brain, especially on brain, in ways that have been never been granted so much money. So we are about to testify a really big revolution in means of tools and diagnostic machines, and we're gonna testify a big jump. I'm sure of that. I'm gonna start to share again because now I have my endonasal lecture on.
Okay.
Can you see there, John?
Yes.
Okay, let me just put it to big screen. All right. So this was a project that I developed here at the Military Area Hospital of São Paulo. I'm a major of Brazilian Army. And this was developed by me with Aldo Stam, who is a very known devoted to SKULLBASE surgery. You may know him. He has a lot of books on FIEM. And Leonardo Balsalobre, which is a very highly skilled ENT also, and is all those main assistant. What we tried to do here, and this was presented at EFNE at 2019, is when I performed my first cases, is try to develop an alternative for treating paraclinoid brain aneurysms. I have no disclosure, so I'm not a shareholder from any company that is involved on this presentation. We're going to talk about vascular neurosurgery and FAC products that can be associated with it. So when we talk about paraclinoid aneurysm, we're talking about aneurysms that are difficult to treat, that usually involve during the dissection before the proximal control of the carotid artery. We're talking about drilling the clinoid process to see it well and sometimes open the durodistal ring, and this before having control of the proximal carotid artery. So we're talking about putting a high-speed drill, about 60,000 rotations per minute, near a formation which is very thin, which is the aneurysm, before controlling proximally carotid artery. So this is really dangerous, and we've been doing this for decades, but I can assure all the younger neurosurgeons that it's not quite comfortable. So usually when you go vascular surgery, the main goal is to establish proximal control before dealing with the aneurysm itself. Because the anatomic configuration of ophthalmic or superior hypophyseal artery aneurysms, you get first into the dome of the aneurysm, then you're going to proceed to the neck, then you're going to reach the parent vessel, which is not quite comfortable. So I tried to develop an alternative, and I was very happy to see that there were some patients operated in the world with the aid of endoscopic systems, but there were few operated by endonasal route. And you're going to see that it just does really all the sense to go endonasal, and it's safe. So in the modern years, we have been flooded by a lot of studies telling not to treat aneurysm when they are small because they have a small risk of rupture, which is not true. I have operated a lot of really small aneurysms, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, that have ruptured, right? And we had huge endovascular propaganda, marketing, telling that, oh, this is gonna kill open surgery. All is gonna be performed with endovascular systems. But now we have the long-term results of this kind of treatment. And we can testify long-term about starting on the 10th year after treatment, high recanalization rates, about 10% a year, right? With this special location of aneurysm, even if you use flow diverters, we still have an acceptable risks as an 8% risk of blindness, which is really a serious, a major complication. Can we help if we go endonasal? Well, first of all, there's no visible scar. Second, there's minimal brain manipulation. Why is that? Because we reach from the skull base, I'm gonna show you the axis, we just get to see the carotid as the first thing, then we have proximal control immediately, and then we can access the neck, and we barely see the dome unless we want to see it, right? We can do this in a multidisciplinary way with experienced SKULLBASE ENT. Now we have ICG also, I'm going to show you, for endoscopic systems. We have just come in the new 3D endoscopes. Very important. The axis of action that you do for placing the clip is the same that you get aligned with the main axis of action. We get zooming, we get line, we get binocular to make the axis a little more, or to get some more freedom of work for the field. And one thing you have to know is a broad anatomical knowledge, as in any area of neurosurgery, right? So let's start to see examples. So here, can you see the arrow, John, or not? Probably not, right? But you can see the ophthalmic artery, and you can see projecting superiorly from the emergency of ophthalmic artery. You can see an aneurysm here, and on AP view, you can see that it projects medially. So this is an ideal case for endonasal. Since it's a small aneurysm, probably if I go from a conventional pterional approach, I would have to take out the clinoid process, the anterior clinoid process, because the aneurysm must be hidden by it, all right? So here you can see the several different approaches for that can be done endonasally. If you take out the posterior wall of the frontal sinus, if you take out planum sphenoidale, if you go for hypophysis, if you go transclival, if you go for odontoid removal, so you can see how far can we reach from inside the nose, right? There's a lot of things that can be done. We can clip basilar aneurysms. We can clip basilar aneurysms if it's a low bifurcation, because we can go transclival. So it's very, very, very interesting. And here, let's talk about anatomy. You can see some pictures here. So the first one, which is marked as an A on the upper left, you can see the initial view when it got into the sphenoid sinus. So you can see there is the sinus, the cavernous sinus. You can see carotid protuberance that early on my cases is where I place proximal control. So I open this thin layer of bone, and I have a place to put a temporary clip in case it's needed, all right? Then on the third image, which is a C, you can see the view that we have from anterior to posterior. You can see the pituitary stalk, you can see the chiasm, and you can see ICA also. Let's go and take a look at this. From a superior view on the right-hand side, you can see the cranial nerve, you can see the hypophysis with the diaphragm, you can see the third nerve, and you can see also basilar bifurcation and how close it's placed with the clivus, all right? You can see also on the anterior segment the planum sphenoidale and how it is closely related with the second nerve and also with the emergence of ophthalmic artery from carotid artery, all right? Let's proceed. And here you have an endoscopic view. On the left-hand side, you can see the posterior clinoid, the carotid artery. You can see the dural ring that is cut here, right? It's marked on DDR and cut. And you can see this, the supraclinoidal internal carotid artery, right? If you push a little bit the optic nerve, you're gonna see the emergence of ophthalmic artery and of course, any aneurysm that is placed there. Another endoscopic view with still some arachnoid covering. And here you can see a particular detail that is very important during surgery. You see these small perforators going to the optic nerves bilaterally. So it's very important to preserve this because this is very important to bring blood to the nerve. So if you cut it or you bipolate it, you're going to have potentially blindness or visual field defects, right? Here I push the nerve a little bit more and then it comes into view the ophthalmic artery. So you see that if I had an aneurysm on this specimen, I would have it just on my face. I would have the neck because I can see the ophthalmic artery emergence. I can see carotid. I have established a proximal control site below on the paraclinoid carotid. So it's a safe procedure. And also I'm dealing straight ahead with the neck of the aneurysm, as you're going to see on this small video. All right, so this is still opening the planum sphenoidale. You can see dura. Of course, this is a speed that is faster than usual because of timing and of zoom. So I'm opening the dura here. With a scissor, endoscopic scissor, you can see the arachnoid still preserved. And here we start to see the second nerve on your left-hand side. I put a cottonoid pad on the brain to protect it. And just below the nerve, you start to see the dome of the aneurysm. You see? It's buried in the nerve, but what interests me is the neck. So I proceed cutting dura and start to work at the neck of the aneurysm. That is what we usually do in vascular neurosurgery. So you can appreciate here the ophthalmic artery, you can appreciate the neck of the aneurysm, and buried in the nerve, you can see the dome of the aneurysm, right? But since what interests me is the neck, proceed with the clip. And boom, it's clipped. You must agree that it makes all the sense in the world. It's much safer than going from transcranial approach. Then we're going to proceed with closure, which is done with fat, with the artificial graft, and also with a nasoseptal flap that has been prepared earlier on the surgery. And here is the control. You can see there is no more aneurysm, but the clip is perfect placed, and the ophthalmic artery is also preserved. All right. Can we use it for all kind of paraclinoid aneurysms? Can we use it for a large aneurysm like this one? I don't think this is the best case. And why not? Because it's oriented posteriorly, and it does not have a medial projection. All right. What about this one? Oh, this one is oriented anteriorly, and it has a medial projection. So this is a good candidate, right? As you can see here on 3D angio, you can see that it's really close to ophthalmic artery, so it's reachable. Let's take a look at this, another video. So the approach is the same. You can see the optic nerve on the roof of our approach. We're going to expose it so we can manipulate it. You can see carotid artery there, and we're going to start dissect because I already see ophthalmic artery, and I see also the brain aneurysm. As you see there, I'm moving, pushing the optic nerve a little bit upwards, preserving the perforators. I can see already the neck of the aneurysm. I'm working on it. I can see ophthalmic artery emergence, just like on the 3D angio. And then it's just go with the clip to the aneurysm neck. Eliminate it. And then we can even proceed with ICG, as I'm gonna show you later on. The closure is the same. We put some fat, then we go with artificial graft, and then we go with a nasoseptal graft. I'm gonna advance this in sake of time. This is an open clipping. I won't show you to you because I know I is a master of it, but just some key points. So dissection as usual, and then we separate the nerve, and then we see that we have some things in the way. We must take out clinoid artery, and you go with high-speed drill, and then we get to see the dome of the aneurysm, then we start to work on the neck and so on. So let me just go through it. This is the control of the endonasal case. These are some pictures that correlate anatomy with the intraoperative view. So you can see we have an excellent field to work here. This is the same as you see optic nerve pushed upwards, ophthalmic artery emergence. So this is the protocol I use here at my hospital, São Paulo Military Area Hospital. We always do a CT scan, not only brain scan, but also paranasal sinus, because sometimes you have some intrasinus septus that can lead you to some mistakes during initial dissection. We always do 3D DSA to check for relations of the aneurysm and the bone, right? And then we can decide which approach is going to be the best one, if an open approach or an endonasal one. On post-operative period, we get the patient restrained in bed for 24 hours. Then we allow him to short walks, and we maintain the nasal plug for the anterior for a few hours up to 1 to 2 days, and the posterior for more time. And we perform always a controlled 3D DSA before the patient is released home. You can see here one of our latest acquisitions, which is intraoperative ICG applied to endoscopic view. So you can see here the opening of the dura, the dissection of carotid, and then we got ICG into view. All right. We can see ophthalmic artery on the upper left corner and carotid artery on the middle. Then we see the aneurysm, and we're going to dissect it and put a clip on its neck. And then after the clip is placed, we perform another ICG to see if there is some additional filling or if it's completely clipped. You can notice that the endoscope is very, very interesting also. You can see here ophthalmic artery preserved and no more aneurysm sac. So you can see that the endoscope is very, very interesting also to see the perforators. You can have a really close view and check if there is some perforator to the nerve that has been eventually sacrificed and replaced the clip. Here you can see the closure. We can leave the head of the clip outside the brain, outside of the skull, so it doesn't compress optic nerve, right? So this is kind of what I wanted to show you. I have a lot of cases to show, but I think this is this short presentation gets the main message I have for you. So take home messages: best if you work with experienced, skilled ENT, specialized in SKULLBASE. The access is pure anatomy, it's feasible, but it's not applicable to all cases. You have to do a good selection. And the rule of thumb is it on your axis? So if you go inside the nostril, is it aligned with your axis? If it is, it's perfect. And usually you have this on aneurysms that project medially and superiorly, right? You can also have other routes. You can go even expanded approaches. You can go transclival. It always requires a good planning with the image exams that I already listed. On the early stages of surgery, always prepare a good and generous nasoseptal flap. That is what is going to prevent a CSF fistula on the post-op period, right? Always establish proximal control, so you can do it on the paraclival carotid, or you can do it on the segment that is placed between dural rings, proximal and distal, it's also feasible to do proximal control there. And of course, you need special instruments like, especially for like endoscopic scissors and dissectors, but the most critical one is the clip applier that is different from the regular clip applier for open skull surgery. And that's what I had for you guys. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And I'm always for any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Paulo. Okay, it's open for questions or comments with Paulo. Okay, guys, this is your chance. Well, I'll ask a question. You know, I'm not a neurosurgeon, Paulo, but I'm certainly in, you know, you're talking about robotics. No, a lot of the things, I'm not a neurosurgeon, but a lot of the things that we saw during your presentation, you think will be done with a robot someday?
Yeah. First of all, John, after so many lectures that you hosted, I think you're a highly skilled neurosurgeon already.
No, well, I wouldn't trust myself operating.
The second point is, yes, I think the robot is coming. You know, when I was a medical student, I could testify the introduction of laparoscopic procedures on general surgery. So what I saw there is very similar to what I see nowadays. When laparoscopy was introduced to general surgery, the older surgeons always thought, hey, human body is not a video game. You can't operate it looking to a TV screen. Right. And they resisted a lot. Why? Because they didn't want to change their practice and to do additional training, right? Right. So the same is happening with the robot, all right? The main difference is that the learning curve of using a robot is really faster if you already have a previous training in microsurgery. So if you are not a microsurgeon and you're trying to do some microsurgical procedure with a robot, you're gonna be a bad robotic surgeon, right? Right. And why is that? The main problem with the robot is that it doesn't give you tactile feedback. So you can't feel in your hand when the knot is properly tied, or if you're putting too much force, pushing something or pulling something, you just can't, right? When you go to microsurgery, one of the first things that you are trained is that you must not rely on your tactile feedback.
Really?
You must, yeah, you must rely on your vision, because the suture line.
That's a big point. That's a big point.
Yeah. So the suture line, for example, that we use for brain anastomosis, it is so thin, it's a 10-0 stitch, that if you wait for the tactile feedback come from your fingertip to your brain, and then your brain tell stop, you're gonna break the line. Mm-hmm. So when you see it, that the knot is properly tied, this is a much faster route for your brain tell you to stop than the tactile feedback, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have a microsurgical training, you're used to rely on your eyes, not on your tactile feedback. So of course, if you have a previous training on microsurgery, you're gonna learn very faster to deal with the robot, and you can explore the advantages of that system more, because it's exactly what you felt that was lacking on microsurgical techniques.
Well, you know, historically, the OB-GYN field is the most advanced in robotics surgery, correct?
Yeah, and urology also.
Urology.
Yeah, urology does the major advance in robotics because they use it a lot for prostatectomies and for vasectomy, reversion, and for a lot of things. They use it for decades now.
do you get to network with those guys at all and kind of
Yeah,
trade notes about robotics?
yeah. We have an association, an international association, which is called RAMSES. It stands for Robotic Association of Microsurgical and Endoscopic Procedures. So we have there every single medical specialty. You have urologists, you have anesthesiologists, you have cardiac surgeon, you have plastic surgeons, you have me as a neurosurgeon, you have, I mean, you name it, we have it. And what we try to do is to develop new applications for robotics. And we are not associated with any company of robots. We're just like independent, and we use the different platforms, and we give feedback to the companies. Hey, you should get this done better. This is not good. Or, hey, you know, I felt that maybe this could be done in a different way, and we try to collaborate, but in a scientific fashion without any kind of commercial involvement.
Well, you know, Neurosurgical TV, my job is to bring sciences like robotics to neurosurgery. I mean,
Yeah.
this platform, I think, will help bringing robotics to neurosurgery. And we welcome any broadcasts you have or anything you want to do. Just let us know. I'm sure the neurosurgery community would love to hear it.
Thank you.
Because, as you know, they don't have time to go to robotics conference. They've got their 1 or 2 neurosurgery conferences they got, and that's it.
Yeah. You're right.
So, I mean, to have a neurorobotic surgery conference online, that would be great.
And you know what, John? I think that this pandemics, it's going to change the way that medical education is performed. So even big events like AANS or events like that have been done online because you couldn't do it the way it was planned. So you have been the pioneer on this for neurosurgery. So you have already a lot of projection and access, and you can count on me. I'm going to prepare a video of this this experience that we had projected only the digital still frame, all right? I'm going to prepare a video of the whole procedure, and we can talk and to put it, the full procedure on your TV.
Yeah, well, we're just starting. We're just really starting. You know, now that we've got the network set up, okay, let's bring the network. Let's bring some good stuff to the network. You know, like robotics and stem cell and things like that. So we'll definitely work together. Hopefully, a lot in the future. Now, if you had to pick like the 5 biggest neurosurgery robotic lovers in the world, who would you pick? Garnet Sutherland, right? Correct, up in Alberta.
Yeah, Garnet is one of the pioneers, and he developed a platform that it's even compatible with intraoperative MRI, which is great for surgery of difficult tumors and so on. The only problem in places like Brazil or some places in Africa or South America is that Garnet's platform, you use it mainly for neurosurgery, right? So it's very tough to tell a CEO from a hospital that he must get a lot of money into a platform that it's usable only for neurosurgery. It's very, very difficult. So it's easier to get this guy to buy a platform that can be used by urology, OB-GYN, ENT, cardiac surgery, and neurosurgery, all right? So the point of return of the investment is much faster, and that is what these guys are interested in.
Yeah, we discussed that. Is association with NASA.
Yeah.
Who of course has big deep pockets.
Yeah.
And I've also done a lot of webcasts with a gentleman with a prosthetic arm from Johns Hopkins. They built that robotically built arm because the military in the United States, they're interested in developing a total robot to go to war, and they spend a lot of money on developing the arm and things like that. Maybe in neurosurgery, it's probably the same. The government's investing a lot of money, probably in neurorobotics, correct?
Yeah, you can access. There's a website which is called, if I don't remember it correctly, you can just.
Okay, you can
I think
email it
it's,
to us.
yeah, I think it's TATRC something, all right? And this TATRC, you can see that all the technology that they are doing and researching for robotic appliances in medical field. They are performing even some experiments with robotics, simulating surgery in dogs and pigs with robots at 0 gravity, right? So what they do is to bring all the stuff inside a big airplane like a C-130, and they bring it just out of stratosphere. Then they let it fall on free fall, so the gravity goes to 0, right? And then they perform the surgery to see how the body works on this kind of environment and how the robot can help. So they have a lot of different branches, and they are studying it seriously with serious funding.
How much, besides Garnet, who are the other big names doing robotics? Is there any neurosurgeons at Johns Hopkins, or that seems to be the big center for medical surgery robotics in the U.S.?
Yeah, I think Hopkins, of course, leads, right? Garnet leads also because he has been doing it for many, many years now. I think he's the biggest experience. And I had a big pleasure of hearing about Ike, who's achieving some robotic aids for endoscopic surgery and also a robotic platform for his new institute. And there are some spine guys, but as I told you, I think that using robots for spine surgery, for placing pedicle screws, I mean, that doesn't make too much sense, you know, because it's a very gross procedure. Unless you're talking about placing screws on deformity surgery, which can be tricky, but for regular surgery, I think it's too much, right?
How much robotic surgery do you do now? I guess before the COVID, how much were you doing, would you say?
Yeah, it's not too much because of regulation here in Brazil. So here in Brazil, for the audience to understand, we have like an FDA that regulates which procedures must be covered by insurance companies, which procedures that insurance companies are supposed to pay for.
It's the same in the US, yeah, same.
Yeah, so robotic surgery for neurosurgery is not included on this list. So when patients want to do something robotic, they must pay for it. And of course, it's not very cheap here in Brazil because we don't have the same amount of robots that you have in the US, for example, right? So it's still an expensive surgery.
But you foresee it increasing in the amount
it's increasing. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
When you tell the patient that you can operate and have collaboration of a foreign surgeon, if you have a high-speed internet, it solves the problem.
Okay, very good. Anybody from the panel want to ask Paulo a question or make a comment? Okay. Okay, very good. Definitely, Paulo. I really want to, keep in close contact with you. Anything you want, anything you want to broadcast. I'm sure the
NASA, is that the United States NASA?
Oops,
Let me give you a little bit of background.
Go ahead. Does anybody have a question?
Developing technology. Me first.
I think, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, anything you want to do, just let me know, and we'll do it. Okay, very good. Okay, I guess we'll close. We'll send you the edited video in a day or two.
And
the editor is from Brazil.
yeah, and you can count on me, John, for whatever you want.
Oh, super. I know that we're going to see a lot of good stuff. And to me, it's the exciting part because at least I can understand it. Neurosurgery, I kind of lost. Robotics, I think I have a better shot at. So
you know, one of the greatest things that I've done during this year was a conference with the engineers. So we had a
that's what we need to do, to put you guys together with the engineers online, and to put you guys together with the urologists online and trade notes that way rather than chasing them in the hospital.
Yeah,
so that would be a great way to use it too, if you want to do that.
Okay.
Anything to increase the interface between you guys, the engineers, the other people doing a lot of procedures. I was doing webcasts with a urologist from Michigan. His practice was exclusively robotics, exclusively.
Yeah.
So I imagine they have a few things to teach.
Yeah. They're very used to do it.
Very good. Okay, then we'll end this broadcast, and thanks a lot again.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all for watching. Bye.